WTA issues statement on player privacy following Coco Gauff incident. American tennis player Coco Gauff did not hide her disappointment after a heavy defeat in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open, and the video of her breaking her racket, which was broadcast on television, caused additional public attention. The third seed of the tournament experienced a real debacle against the Ukrainian Elena Svitolina, who won with a convincing score of 6-1, 6-2 and reaching the Australian Open semifinals for the first time in her career. After the match, the cameras recorded the moment in which Gauff breaks the racket in the warm-up area, which caused her displeasure, because the footage was made public, although she tried to hide it. Numerous colleagues of the 21-year-old American came to her defense. Novak Djokovic, Iga Swiatek, and Jessica Pegula pointed out that today's players do not have the same privacy as they used to and that such situations will probably become more frequent in the future. It is known that such moments often go viral on social media and can divert the player's focus from what is to come. This is a serious burden for every athlete, and sometimes it is difficult to deal with comments that do not concern the game itself. Not long after, the WTA reacted and sent an official message on social media. In it, they stress that the players deserve space away from prying eyes so that they can recover. The WTA stands with our players and takes their concerns about privacy and cameras at the Australian Open seriously. They wrote. They also plan to talk to the players to find a solution to such problems. The president of the WTA shares her opinion. The president of the WTA, Valerie Camillo, believes that such concerns of the players are completely justified and that athletes should have a space where they can recover and not feel under constant surveillance. We will see if something significant will change in the future and if the WTA, as well as well-known tournaments, will find ways to reduce the presence of cameras on every corner. Alex de Minaur still waits to reach his first major semifinal, having lost all 7 quarterfinals. The Aussies' most recent setback came at home in Melbourne following a 7-5, 6-2, 6-1 loss to Carlos Alcaraz. World number 1 bested the home star in 2 hours and 15 minutes at Rod Laver Arena, prevailing in a tight opener and taking charge in sets 2 and 3. Despite giving everything, Alex felt disappointment over his performance. He could not maintain a high level for an entire match against such a powerful rival, especially during night conditions when the Spaniard turns into a different kind of beast. The Aussie could not find solution for the rival's powerful and error-free game, admitting he still has to work hard to reach the level of the guys from the top. De Minaur made a push on the opening set to erase the deficit and extend the battle. However, Carlos kept his composure and closed the set with a late break after the rival's forehand error. It was all about the favorite in sets 2 and 3, as he controlled the pace on serve and return and provided his 6th victory over fellow top 10 rival from as many encounters. I'm proud to have made another quarterfinal here. I would have loved to have given more out there, but it was not easy. I'm a bit disappointed with my performance. There were some good parts out there, but overall, I'm played out of my comfort zone and at times out of my skin. For me to take that next step, I have to be comfortable playing that sort of way for the whole match. That's what it takes to take it to the next level, especially against these types of guys. Carlos is so strong in those night conditions. He can generate so much force, and his unforced errors almost dissipate. Today, I could not step in with my flat shots, especially from the backhand, as nothing was working for me, Alex de Minaur said. Invisible courts, the WTA, Coco Gauff, and the battle for player privacy. On the sun-drenched stadium courts of the Australian Open, where gladiators of modern tennis clash before roaring crowds and global audiences, a quiet revolution is underway. This year's first Grand Slam has been defined less by winners or upsets than by an essential question at the heart of professional sport. What space, if any, is there for an athlete's privacy? The incident that sparked a debate. American sensation Coco Gauff, a 2-time Grand Slam champion and one of the most beloved figures in women's tennis, exited the Australian Open earlier than expected after a quarterfinal defeat. Frustrated and disheartened, she sought what she thought was a private place, a tunnel near Rod Laver Arena, where she could vent her emotions by smashing her racket. What followed was unexpected. Cameras that extend beyond the court's visible edges captured every moment, and the footage was broadcast globally. Gauff's reaction afterwards was thoughtful and human. I tried to go somewhere where I thought there weren't cameras, she said, expressing discomfort that such a personal moment was made public. She stressed the need for spaces where players can process emotions without fear of constant exposure. That seemingly simple, small moment smashing a racket away from the lights and cameras, became a catalyst for a far larger conversation about athletes as people, not just performers. A sport under unblinking eyes. Modern tennis, like many global sports, thrives on visibility. Cameras follow every serve, every sprint, every grunt. Sponsor logos flash everywhere. Social media amplifies every micro-moment into a global spectacle. That spectacle fuels fan engagement, drives broadcast revenue, and elevates player profiles to stratospheric levels. Yet at what cost? This incident exposed a raw tension between public visibility and private humanity. Tennis players are expected to live their victories and defeats under constant scrutiny, not only in front of spectators and television cameras, but in corridors, lounges, and transition spaces once considered beyond the purview of media capture. Top players support Gauff's stance. Iga Swiatek, the world number 2, echoed her frustration, lamenting the feeling of being watched like animals in a zoo, even during moments that should be private and reflective. This sentiment resonated widely within the tennis community, prompting the Women's Tennis Association, WTA, to respond formally. The WTA statement, a turning point. In the wake of the incident, the Women's Tennis Association issued a statement backing players' calls for greater privacy at tournaments. The message was clear. Concerns raised by players about cameras in off-court player areas are valid, and there is a need for distinct boundaries between public and private spaces in the professional environment. WTA Chair Valerie Camillo, a seasoned executive with a wide background in major American sports leagues, emphasized that these calls are very human and fair. She acknowledged that athletes deserve spaces where they can recover and regroup without constant publicity or scrutiny. Key commitments from the WTA included reducing the presence of cameras in player-only areas off the court, encouraging tournament organizers and broadcasters to consider respectful boundaries, starting a dialogue with players, tournaments, and media partners to shape sustainable solutions. This statement marks a significant,